Now call on George Adam to be followed by Animal Goldie. 6 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I always welcome the opportunity to discuss Scotland's future, the positive case for independence, as opposed to the negative reasons to stay within the Union, which we continually hear from the opposition parties here at the moment. You know, there's always a positive idea for us to talk about the values and priorities that an independent Scotland would actually have, because that's what independence gives us. It gives us the opportunity to be able to prioritise, get the full levers of power and prioritise the power and values that we have to deliver for the people of Scotland. But the eyes of the world are on Scotland. We are indeed the talk of the international political steamy at the moment, and quite rightly so, because not only is this such an important issue for the people of Scotland, it is also, we stand between two futures, a status quo with further austerity cuts in Westminster Government that Scotland did not vote for, or the responsibility, Presiding Officer, of the full powers of government, giving us the opportunity to no longer play the blame game, to blame other political parties, to blame other governments in other places, to take on the full responsibilities of independence and create the type of Scotland that every one of us in this chamber actually wants. We currently live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, yet many of our people do not have the opportunities they need, or worse still, live in poverty. Westminster's austerity cuts to welfare are making their lives even more difficult. Many of our electorates even have difficulties with dealing with the benefits they currently have. What type of Scotland do we want? With independence, we can create a welfare system that supports our people back to work, makes work pay, and provides a strong and decent safety net for those unable to work. I welcome the fact that the Scottish Government is taking on a number of the expert working group's welfare recommendations, increasing carers allowance already mentioned by my colleague Mark MacDonald to the same rate as job seekers allowance for those aged 25 or over, and also re-establishing the link between benefits and the cost of living, with benefits and tax credits being increased each year by the Consumer Prices Index of inflation. But most importantly, Presiding Officer, most importantly, abolishing the bedroom tax instead of mitigating against the bedroom tax, making sure that we have the powers to be able to do that. Replace the current system of sanctions with one that is fairer and more personalised and positive, as opposed to all of us having constituents coming into our offices and being left penniless because of the current system. That's the type of Scotland that I want to live in. That's the type of Scotland I want for the future. Independence can... Yes, I will indeed.
Drew Smith.
I respect the passion that the member has for these issues, but why wouldn't he want to have the ambition to abolish the bedroom tax for people suffering under it right across the UK? Why that poverty of ambition?
My ambition is to ensure that the people of Scotland have the opportunities to create the kind of country that we want. That's the ambition I have for us to be able to collectively take our place in the world. And it's the opportunity to make things easier for parents to get back to work by transferring money spent by Westminster on Trident weapons into childcare, investing in wains, not weapons of mass destruction, ensuring that we can actually take that money and ensure that we can build the type of Scotland, getting people back into work when we can. Our childcare policy is already there. By the end of the first budget, we will provide 600 hours of childcare to around half of Scotland's 2-year-olds. By the end of the first Parliament, we will ensure that all 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds and vulnerable 2-year-olds will be entitled to 1,140 hours. These are the things that can make a difference in people's lives, and these are the things that we actually believe will make that difference. Also, so independence can give us the powers to invest money raised for enabling more women into work, back into childcare, transforming childcare alongside strengthening employability and skills programme, enabling more people, particularly women, back into work. These are the things that make the difference, and these are the things that I passionately want to deal with in this chamber, because when we have the powers of independence, we can have that debate instead of having the usual Westminster ping-pong competition where it's Tory one time, Labour the next, and it's constantly just blame everyone else, instead of actually taking the responsibility of government, Presiding Officer, ensuring that we can actually move forward, because Scotland currently has a democratic deficit. Westminster will never deliver the future we want, because 76% of Scottish MPs voted against further austerity cuts in the 2010 finance budget. It made no difference. It still went ahead. 81% of Scottish MPs voted against the welfare cuts in the welfare benefits operating system. Presiding Officer, an old friend of mine, an old SNP councillor who's now left us in Renfrewshire Council for 35 years, Councillor Jim Mitchell, used to say, "You're powerless if you remain within the Westminster system." And indeed, Scotland is powerless if we remain within the Westminster system, because we're bigger than that, our ambition is bigger than that, and we want so much more. So, Presiding Officer, there are indeed two choices we have in front of us, and it's quite simple. Responsibility, the power to deal with the many challenges that we have with independence for us all, so that we can create the type of country that we all want, an exciting new dawn, or the continued negativity and austerity of Westminster. Recently, Presiding Officer, I announced here, as a husband, a father and a soon-to-be grandfather, I know what type of country I want for my family and for Scotland. That's why I believe passionately that independence is the only way forward. So give us the powers to create the country we all want. Please. That's surely something that everyone in here wants for the future.
Thanks so much.